Alright everyone, so in this video here, I picked up one of these little bad boys right here. Let's go ahead and unbox this. But before we do, let's go ahead and just take a look at how this box looks like. This is reminiscent of the original launch model of the Sega Genesis. So keep in mind the Genesis originally came out here in the US in 1989. Yeah, it's that old. So, and by the way, there is quite a bit of good games for this console. You know, between this and the Super Nintendo at the time, that was some of the best gaming in terms of generations, just because you just had a wide range of different games that you can play. So if you've always been like a Nintendo person, you never really thought about the Genesis, seriously, look into the library of this console and you'll understand why so many people really love this console. So on the side here, you got the Genesis, and on the top here, kind of similar. And on the side here, you got your little information here. And of course on the bottom, you got your little info down there. And of course in the back here is the list of all the games. Pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and open this up. I don't want to break the box or anything. Comes in like that, but let's go ahead and get everything out. USB cable, HDMI, and look at this. This is already better than the Sony PlayStation Classic because it actually comes with an AC adapter. I'm not kidding. This actually does come with an AC adapter, and this is cheaper than the PlayStation Classic originally was. All right, let's see. You got your manual. And of course, controllers. And there it is. Pretty cool. So let's see how this feels. It feels pretty good. Now, of course, you have to keep in mind that, you know, to be fair, you know, just trying to remember how this was brand new back in the day, but it's pretty close. The only thing I've heard about these is that the C button, some people's been having issues with the C button. It's going to be one of those things I'm just going to have to plug in and see what happens. I mean, they seem to click down, so we'll have to wait and see. And by the way, it is USB, so nonetheless, you are going to get some USB controls that you can use on your computer. You know, I'm going to have to see if this actually works on the Switch. That would be interesting. Last but not least, the most important part, and that is the console itself. Let's go ahead and open this up. Let's go ahead and remove that little sticker there. And there it is. I have to say, this is so close to the original. You got your little on and off switch here. You got your reset button. Your little slider here for the headphone, which that would have been, I'll be honest with you, this would have been kind of cool if it actually had a headphone jack on it, but it doesn't. So this is strictly just for looks, but this is a working power switch, and the reset should be an actual working button too. Now, of course, you also have 2 USB ports there. And in the back, you got your micro USB for your power and, of course, HDMI. Now, if it's like any other plug-and-play console, it's going to output in 720p. But yeah, what's actually kind of neat about this too is that this actually has a working cartridge slot. That's actually really, really cool. And also you can take this side thing off. But there's no actual board on there. It's just for looks. So let me try to put this thing back on. There we go. And I actually brought my Sega Genesis out here to compare it. So let me go ahead and grab this. And let's take a look at this. Yes. So you got the original here. Then, of course, you got the Mini. Wow, that, I have to say, this is so much, obviously it's smaller, but this is so much lighter than this. Now, this is not like a paperweight or anything. You know, when you're holding this, yes, it is lighter, but the way the plastic feels and everything, really, really high quality. But also, when you compare it with this, you start to realize how much of this is so close together. Now, there are subtle differences. You know, if you're going to be nitpicking, one thing I will say is that, let me try to put this to the side there. I don't know how well you're going to notice this or if the camera's able to pick this up. At least on my viewfinder, I'm actually able to see the difference. But the color here is actually slightly different. So it's not 100%. But I think for the average person, they're going to really like this. I already like this. And it's a real shame, at least here in the US, that Sega is not selling those additional add-ons for this thing, like in other territories. And I know some people here in the US has been getting like US versions, but it's only going to influencers. And it's a real shame that Sega is not going to be selling those to people here in this country, which is a real shame because personally I actually would have bought one because I've had a Sega CD. I've actually had a 32X, and I also have the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge, and then you put another cartridge on top. It basically becomes like a big tower. Really, really cool. Unfortunately, it would be kind of hard for me to get a hold of one, just because unless Sega, you know, smartens up and decides to sell them here. But yeah, I have to say, all in all, Sega, at least aesthetically, Sega did a really, really nice job of recreating this. And quite honestly, this is actually something that people has been telling Sega for years and years to stop doing, basically stop doing the partnership with At Games, especially because they constantly just keep coming out with crap. And it's a real shame because the Genesis console itself is a really good console. Has fantastic games for this thing. The problem is that all the emulation boxes or the plug and play systems that keeps coming out with the Sega Genesis branding on it were absolute garbage. And it's a real shame. This time around, from what I've read about this, Sega used M2 to do all the work for this thing. And from what I can tell, apart from nitpicking little issues, they did a really good job on this. So all I have to say this is, if you are interested in one of these and you remember growing up with the Sega Genesis, this is actually a really cool little system to have. So that was just a quick unboxing and a little storytelling. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's how it looks. And pretty cool. So yeah, that's it. Like always, have a good one. Leave those comments down below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and like always, Have a good one.